I'm a bit like a pit bull. If I bite myself into something, I stay there until I succeed. That's why I'm still here, almost 20 years down the line.
When do you decide, hang on a second, I can be rich here?
Cash is king in crises. That's how I normally sold and bought in Dubai. Throughout two crises, 2008, 2009.
I've been observing the stock market recently, and I am sure there's stock manipulation going on with the news.
Now with technology, they can do it easier than ever. That's why it's very difficult to trade.
Is this still a good opportunity to make money?
The world is due for next crisis anytime soon.
Gladiators, welcome back to this episode of In the Arena with Dariush. Today, I'm super excited. Just came back off holiday last night, exhausted, but couldn't get to the office fast enough to interview this or have a chat with a friend of mine, Richard Pajer. Welcome.
Thank you, Dariush. It's a pleasure being
A
here.
true gladiator, my friend.
It's a pleasure being here. Thank you, Dariush.
I know the audience are going to get inspired by your story. Now, we had a chat before we started, and you said there's no limits. We can talk about anything. And I really, really admire that. Thank you for that, because you prepared to share your highs, lows, vulnerabilities, everything with us.
Of course, with pleasure.
Thank you. You were born in Germany.
Correct. I was born and raised in Germany. My parents were Czech. They left Czech Republic in the year 1969. Technically, with one suitcase, they escaped back then when the Russians came. And I was born a few years later. And it was in the north of Germany, Düsseldorf. Although Hamburg, where you've been recently, they call it already the south. But to us Germans, the south is like Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg. So yeah, I've lived the first 5 years of my life in the north, and then we moved to the south, close to Munich, Nuremberg, a beautiful little city.
What do you remember of your childhood? I know you've had losses at an early age, similar to me again.
Yeah.
Your father, he was an employee or entrepreneur?
He was, well, I mean, they both escaped, as I said, with one suitcase. They had to start over their lives. They were both employed, and my father passed away when I was 3. So
How old was he?
38. 38.
Natural causes?
Yes, natural causes, and some kind of sickness, which is till date not possible to heal. And yeah. So we spoke Czech until I was 3 years old, so I didn't speak a single word in German. But then I started going to kindergarten. These days my Czech is more style of a German than, my German is.
What do you remember of the time losing your father? How were you told? What were your emotions, and how has that affected you today?
That's a good and a long story. It's actually, I remember that when I was 3 years old, we were at a friend's place, my sister, myself, and my mom came into the door and said, your father just died. And I didn't even have tears in my eyes. I think I was spiritual ever since I was little. And I thought everything has its sense. And so, I mean, I grew up without a father. I don't know how it is with a father. I got my own kids now, so I want to be there as much as possible for them and give them what I haven't had. But I just didn't have a father. I remember that time, and from pictures and little memories, what I did with him, how I played football with my daddy, and that he was an amazing guy, like an angel, and always calm, and yeah.
I look back and I think, were those memories real?
That's the thing, right?
Did I make them up? Was it fantasy? That boy, when he left to go on his trip, they never came back. Did I make that up in my head, that vision of him waving to me?
Yeah.
Memory plays funny tricks on you. Sometimes you feel maybe it was a blessing.
All right.
Or a curse. You don't know.
I guess so. I think everything happens for a reason in life, and the bad things that happen at that time, later on we see why they happen and what it got you to. And since you're talking about blame, and my sister's a bit into that direction, that he blames her dad, and she never had a dad. And I'm thinking a bit like, as we said, that it had its reason, and I learned to fight. I learned to grow up. I had to do everything on my own. My mom was working hard to get my sister myself through, and didn't really have much time. So when I would go to sports, like playing football, soccer, as I say, everyone had their dad and their parents there, and I was always on my own. So
Same as me.
yeah.
They used to wait for dad to pick him up.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you don't know. And in England, they say, I'm waiting for my old man.
That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking, at least you have an old man.
That's the thing,
I used
yeah.
to-
And sometimes I would envy these guys because they had fathers, they were so involved, and yeah. But then when you're on the other side as now, I realize with my big son, maybe I shouldn't have been that involved and let him do his own thing. But yeah, it's what it is, you know. We just got to take it as it is and make the most out of it.
Was your mom a great mom?
She was a great mom. She's working hard, taking care of us, and really achieved a lot, considering what she's been through all on her own. Obviously, with her new German partner, didn't last for very long. There was some problems, and yeah. So
she made decisions maybe out of. So she wanted more certainty, possibly. Because my mom married again.
Yeah.
And he was wrong.
All right.
But she wanted the rent paying. She wanted certain consistencies in her life. We didn't have. We were immigrants, right?
Yeah.
So we needed. I think somewhere subconsciously, although she loved him, we needed a British passport. We needed some security.
Yeah. Now, that's interesting. In my case, it was more, I think one of the major reasons, as far as I remember, is so my stepdad had a son as well, and he would always be a bit jealous about, because I went my path, and I, luckily, touch wood, was quite successful in what I've done, and his son obviously wasn't the same kind of type like me. So my mom loved his son like her own son, but he just didn't really like me much. So I think my mom made that decision mostly based on that.
Interesting. And you have never been in touch with the stepbrother?
I have been, but he's a weird guy. He just disappeared. I mean, I saw him a few years ago, I think like 8 years ago in Düsseldorf. We met for an evening and had a good chat about the good old times. He would be in touch every now and then with my mom and go visit her. But yeah, he's living his own life, and he's just different. So yeah, not really putting much value on being in touch with us anymore, I guess.
And how does that make you feel, truthfully? Because I share my point.
Well, look, I've learned to live with losses, and I learned to keep moving forward. So I don't have a grudge against anybody. I don't blame them for their decisions, whatever they make, whatever relationships I've been in with girls. You know, it's not my place to judge why they do things. I'd rather focus on myself.
You're hurt. Do you feel hurt? I feel hurt. I'll explain to you why.
Please tell me.
When I was in England, I formed a few close friendships with male, not emotional or loving relationships, just male friends that have been with me 20, 30 years. The moment I came here, I haven't heard from any of them. Not one call, see if I'm okay. How's your mom? Not one call.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, they probably won't spend 1 second thinking about me. He's moved on, we move on. But I spent a lot of time thinking, what happened? What was that 30 years friendship? Was it false? Was it an act? Or is it because I value life so much because of what I've experienced that I value friendship so much? I value time so much.
I really think that's the point, and I also think because you're a successful man, that most people can't handle it. A lot of people with their jealousy and envying what you got probably disconnect and say, you know what, I can't compete with him, or I'm a little man compared to him, so they feel a bit intimidated, is what I think. But to be honest, when I think about friendships and losses that I faced in my life, I don't mind if it just fades out and blends out and I meet them every now and then 10 years down the line and we all cool. What disappoints me if people screwed me over, to say it frank, you know? And that happened, and that's where I was surprised, thinking we were friends, we were like brothers, and at the next day or whatever, for whatever reason that drove him, you get the knife stabbed into your back, and that's the thing where I'm like, I don't understand that. That's why I'm disappointed and why I start thinking about what happened and why did it happen. The other guys who just fade out, it's okay. You got a handful of friends, as you know. There's not many friends you can trust and you can rely on. But I got them over the years, and that just filtered all the other ones out, you know.
How do you feel about forming new friendships, knowing that some have stabbed you behind your back?
Well, it happened to be a lot of times in Dubai, to be honest. I've been here for a long time, almost 20 years, and in the UAE. And I figured out here's a lot of people who you think you can trust, not obviously don't want to stereotype, but I faced it here quite a lot, that you can trust a lot of people, whether it's with money or with a woman, and in the end, they were quite selfish, and that's why I cut them off, you know.
Because you think there's too many distractions.
I think, yeah, I think this is an amazing place. I love being here. I call it home. You know, when other people telling me I'm going home on leave, and they mean their country, and they're like, where you going? I said, this is my home. You know, I love to travel, and I go back to Europe, but I wouldn't consider it as my home anymore. So I love this place. I love it, but I think a lot of people are here for the sole reason of success, and that's where they probably have to become selfish and become selfish, but then they would walk over people, and this is something that I don't condone myself with, you know. I love to keep good relationships, even in investment banking, which I work most of my life. You know, a lot of people do dodgy stuff in this business, and it was never my type or my style of leading my life. And I want to wake up without being scared someone wants to kill me. I want to wake up with a good conscience and look into the mirror. And even though there was chances to make a fortune, but it was not appealing to me when it has to do with someone else will be upset with me or has a severe loss.
Or hurt.
Or
Yes,
hurt, exactly.
Yeah, I think being able to sleep at night is critical.
Yes.
And look in the mirror and really be happy with yourself. Because often people like you and I are alone.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody advising us. We're our own judge, juror, action, everything.
Absolutely. But I think, since we're talking about this, I think it is a gift, Dariush. And no one is perfect, and we're all vulnerable. But I think people should be able to reflect on what they did. Look, I do mistakes like everybody else does. But short after, I'm thinking, looking into the mirror, I'm thinking, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have reacted like this. And I met a lot of people that don't have this ability to reflect on their behavior. And they think what they did is right, and that's what it is. And then I'm thinking, are they happy with themselves, or in the end they standing in their own way to develop themselves? And I think, yeah, reflecting is a big thing, and that makes you grow and improve.
Because I think it starts with a question that, or a statement that I'm not right all the time.
Yes.
How can I improve?
Correct.
Because the quality of your answers depends on the quality of questions you ask. Right?
Yes.
So ask a good question, and ego can blind.
Yep. And I think I compare it always a little bit with sport, and everything has to do also with feedback, you know, whether it's business, whether it's a relationship, you need to be able to have a 360 communication and take the feedback into consideration. Everyone sees different things. That's why I like to have it work in a team. And in sports, I did it in the same way. I looked at the best athletes when I was young, and I tried to take from each and every one of them the best part that would suit me, and created my own style. And that has all to do with reflecting and pick and choose, yeah.
My mom didn't guide me much in life because she was young.
Yeah.
And she has her own struggles, and she had to work hard to look after me and my sister, very similar. So I spent a lot of time alone. And I think we were having this chat before that I love music, because when I was on my own, I listened to music.
Yeah.
You know, so when I'm low, I want to be on my own listening to music. What was your escape?
Yeah, music, as I always say, is the language of the soul. I was kind of forced into music when I was young. My mom made me play the piano. And at some point I was like, the piano is more a girl's thing, you know. So I started playing the guitar. We created a band. We played rock music. It was good fun. But my escape at that time was mostly sports. So I would train like a maniac. I would train at some point 3 hours a day, morning 1.5 hours, evening 1.5 hours, 6 times a week. I was sports professional at some point as well. And that was my escape. But as you say, yeah, my mom also didn't really guide me, because when I was 12 years old and I was playing football, soccer, just for the fun of it, but I had an offer of Bayern Munich, and I turned it down. I turned a few more things down in life, with people wondering why. But so I turned that one down because I just started with karate. And in karate, the coach took care of me like a dad, you know. And probably that was what I was missing. So he was driving me up and down, picking me up. He saw the potential. And yeah, people were wondering, what, you quit football now when Bayern Munich makes you an offer? I said, oh, well, I start karate. And I made my path there. As good
No
as
regrets.
Well, you know, when you grow older, and I was watching here a football game, Germany against the UAE, at some point when I was like 34, 35. And I was thinking I could play there now. So you're like, but I didn't have a mother who said, or daddy who said, Richard, stay with football. You want to make good money, and the effort that you put in. I would be crazy if in karate class someone was talking. I was telling them, shut up, be quiet. I would do push-ups, sit-ups whilst the coach was talking. When we went for a run in the forest and my team was starting to chat, I would run away. I said, you guys chat, I'm here for training. So I was crazy. And I could have put it maybe into a different sport, but you never know. I might have gotten injured. I had a career. I mean, I was luckily a couple of times German champion and second on the World Cup and third on the World Cup and other international successes. So I achieved in that sport, I think, pretty much as you could. But yeah, the regrets is, you know,
Financial.
you sometimes think like, as a football player to put all that effort in, I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I was only focused at school. Always my mates, my friends, they would go and have a cigarette when they were 16. And they were like, Richard, you're the outsider, but not in a bad way. They liked me and respected me. But I was always a bit of the outsider because I was doing my own thing. And yeah, and as you say, my mom didn't really guide me. She let me do. She had faith in me. My sister needed a bit of a hand in the guidance. But yeah, I had to go my own path.
Do you think God just gave you a gift? You were just a gifted kid? What was the magic formula?
I had a friend back then also in that karate school. He said, Richard, whatever you touch turns to gold. Because I had a music career as well. I had actually an offer of BMG, Bertelsmann Music Group. I was recording in the studio with Mariah Carey and Missy Elliott. I haven't seen them though, but they were there as well at times. And I had a famous singer doing some background vocals for me. And there I turned the BMG record label contract down.
You wrote your own music?
Yes, I wrote for them songs actually as well. They asked me to write songs. Obviously, I mean, I love any kind of music, whether it's opera, house, hip hop, depends on the mood. But I played in a heavy metal band, you know, and they somehow spotted me and they wanted to make different kind of music with me, which we did, and was amazing. But then it came to signing the record label deal, and I turned it down because of love. Yeah.
Do you marry that first love?
Yeah. Yes, that was my wife back then. She said she wouldn't want me to become famous.
Insecurities.
I guess so. But at the same time, she had some cousins in her family which were famous German actors. She said, I can go into acting business and then we won't see each other anymore. And I was like, yeah, maybe I step back from that, you know. Then again, you go to concerts these days and you think like, I could be standing there on stage, you know. Yeah. So I don't know, but what if in the trading business as a trader at the stock exchange, you learn what if doesn't help you anything, you know.
Let's go back. So you started training in always karate.
Yes, then from the age of 12.
Why karate? Why? How did you get into it?
I was fascinated by the spiritual point of view about these Japanese martial arts, and B, yes, to be a fighter, be a warrior, be self-confident, learn how to defend yourself, and that just hooked me. And then in addition, this guy, my coach, who took care of me like I was his son, that was the path I took till I was then professional in an older age, and my mom was saying, you need to do something when you get hurt or injured, that's it, you know.
Fall back on.
Yeah, so I started studying finance, and
let's not go there yet.
All right, cool.
I want to talk about karate.
Yes.
I did 2 years.
Yeah.
And karate is crazy.
Shotokan karate.
Because I used to get bullied all the time.
All right.
And I couldn't go running to my mom complain because she had enough problems of her own.
Yeah.
So I used to think, I've got to learn to fight. And karate was the only one at the time that I had access to.
Yeah.
But looking back now, I'm going to ask you the question. If you could pick a martial art, what would that be and why? I think there's jiu-jitsu, there's tai chi, there's
Aikido,
kung fu, there's
taekwondo.
Yeah.
It would be still karate.
Really, why?
I think karate combines. I mean, I love other martial arts. Don't get me wrong, and I have respect for all sorts of martial arts, whether you call it Wing Chun or Taekwondo. But I love the Japanese martial arts. Sometimes I'm drawn to the Japanese culture as well. So whether it's ninjutsu, kendo with weapons. I once trained Aikido for the fun of it for 6 months. There was Steven Seagal back then, famous, right? So I was thinking, I want to learn a bit more of the twisting. We do a bit of self-defense in karate, but not that much. The original sense is obviously kill with one hit, yeah, and karate means empty hand, no weapons. So I tried to mingle with the other martial arts a bit, but I would still go back to karate because it just sharpens your focus and your mind and the body posture. You train your arms and your legs, you train your mind, you meditate, you gain a self-confidence where I think a lot of people just smell the coffee. I never really had any arguments or fights in my life because most people just, they shake my hand and say sorry, and I say I'm sorry. I don't want to entertain any violence when it comes to wherever you go, someone pushes you, whatever. So I think it is a very good martial art to train also your focus for life. I think all my friends from the national team back in the days, when I look at their career now, they all managed to take a very successful path in their business life after finishing off their karate career.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So who would kick whose ass?
Sorry?
Who would kick? If you had Richard, jiu-jitsu, and all the other martial arts and karate, which one will win in a fight?
Well,
and why?
That's a good question.
UFC, for instance.
I went to watch UFC last year in Abu Dhabi, and I know it's now a big hype and a big fashion. On the other hand, I don't like violence like that. I don't agree with that. I know people always, as the gladiators, they love this blood and strength, and I like this controlled karate, Shotokan karate, which is the main karate for World Karate Federations and World Championships, where you can actually kill somebody, but you still control where and how you hit them, and not in a way that they bleed or break something. So
just kill them without bleeding.
Exactly. So
Great.
There's actually an original sense about karate about the pressure points, which is deadly, and not a lot of people know it. But that's a different story. But in terms of fighting, I trained with a lot of different martial arts. Our national team used to train with the Taekwondo national team. Here in Dubai, I trained a lot with Wing Chun and Taekwondo. And I think it's about your quality and your ability to analyze the other person and what they're doing and where you can find your gap. So I wouldn't have a problem fighting with anybody, not even UFC. If someone would say, I'm now a bit older, but if someone would say, you got 6 months to get ready and fight with some UFC fighter, I would probably do it. Although, as I said, I'm not into this crazy violence and blood, and it's not right up my street.
I've seen clips where the karate champion is fighting a jiu-jitsu champion, and often the jiu-jitsu champion will beat the karate champion.
Not often. It happens. But there was actually a MMA fighter, UFC fighter who came from karate, a Brazilian guy. Obviously, they need to combine a lot of martial arts. That's why they call it MMA, mixed martial arts. You can't only do the distant fight. You need to be good in the in-fight. So they train everything. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is amazing for the in-fight. But for the distance, obviously, you need something like kickboxing, taekwondo, or karate. And I think we have actually one legend now. He's several times world champion, an amazing guy, and he did an MMA fight for the fun of it, and he won. But he's an amazing karateka. He's a living legend. So I think it always depends on your quality, how to adapt and how to adjust. Can't say this martial art is better, this one, or this guy has these tricks and this one has these tricks. I think it's the person itself. What do you make out of your abilities, and how you adapt and how you adjust? Probably as in life as well with everything.
But it helps to know that when you go out, you can kick somebody's ass.
It helps
if
to
you
know.
Want it.
It helps to know. Yeah. As a comparison, my big son always said, and he played football in the second league in Germany.
You have 2 sons.
Three.
No girls.
No girls. I'm just making boys. I don't know why, but I think maybe it's a blessing. Although, yeah. Girls are a great thing, but I think as a daddy looking after a girl is a bit of a different
story. Trust me, I'm going to be a granddad soon, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
I get from
bless
my daughter.
You, yeah. Bless you. But yeah, as a dad looking after a girl, I think is a more protective thing than when you have sons. You can just let them go with the flow, Yeah, so I have a 24 years old son, and when he played football in Germany and walked through the streets, and obviously the political situation changing there, and people are a bit more concerned at night, and he always said, "Daddy, when you would walk, no one would even speak to you because you have the self-confidence. Whenever I go out with you, everyone's got somehow the respect or takes the distance, whereas he got bullied, and I think it's something that you carry inside, and people feel it as you, with your aura, when you give speeches and the energy you bring over. I think it's a part that you take into your life, whether it's business, whether it's martial art, whether it's a relationship. I think it's
Maybe you don't even realize it, but people keep telling you, and you go, I must have it somewhere.
yeah.
I don't see it, but that confidence that you, or the energy, the aura you give out.
Yes. As I said, I was blessed enough. I never really got into trouble. Everyone starts shaking hands. It's all good. It's nice to see that that I don't know, that this energy is somehow felt by people. Yeah.
And you are 50.
48, born
Oh
76.
yeah, you're 10 years younger than
No,
me.
I
Oh, God,
just,
now suddenly our relationship's gone downhill.
So I'm 10 years younger than
10
you.
years.
Yeah.
So you went to university. What did you qualify in? And university was for you something to fall back on. So mom said, have a bit of education,
Yes, I studied finance.
just in
yes.
case.
Yep.
Is that what you wanted to do, or you rather?
No, actually not. I loved my freedom life. I was a sports professional. I trained when I wanted to train, and I got fit. I was successful, and I was thinking that's all I want. But yeah, looking a bit ahead, when something happens, you needed to have a leg to stand on, another leg to stand on. And I was actually the one who was always preaching and saying, look, I've got a good education. I finished school in a quite good manner. I was a sports professional. I had an option to do music. So I said I always like to have a backup and a buffer where I can fall on if one doesn't work out. I think that's something important in life. Of course, you should focus on one thing. But if it doesn't work out, you need to know where you're going, not just fall into an empty hole. So I did finance, and in that studies, I met a guy who was trading. It was like 1997. He was trading stocks and warrants. And back then it wasn't like now everyone can trade, it was a privilege to trade, and you had to call your bank, where's the Adidas stock, which price, okay, I'll buy 100. And then you call back again 2 hours, where are we now? They had to communicate with the stock exchange. So I was quite hooked with this, and worked in the bank for a while, and then I wanted to straight away go to the stock exchange. Through a friend of mine, I got into contact with the guy who was then my CEO. He's still a friend of mine, very nice guy. And I worked there for a year. It was tough, 18 hours a day, no break.
How old were you?
I was 23, 24. I had my first son just born.
Which city?
Frankfurt, had to move to
So you
Frankfurt.
were a very young dad.
Yeah. But it was planned, it was wanted. My wife back then couldn't get a job in Frankfurt. I said, let's try it with a baby, got something to do.
I'm earning the money.
Yes. But I wasn't much home, to be honest. Couldn't spend much time with him like I can now with my little ones. I feel a bit sorry and bad about it, but yeah, I was focusing on the career, and it was tough. It was really tough. 18 hours a day, 10 flat screens running for the loo, and I had a boss who didn't like me, the head of trading, and then there was another thing that I turned down. So my CEO said, "I know you guys don't get along, Richard. You're a great guy, making great profits. One phone call, you go to Goldman Sachs." I said, no, thanks. I had a Shark Tank now for 1 year. I want to have another Shark Tank. And I took a role as a market maker at the Frankfurt floor. I was a sales trader before. Then I wanted to take the role as a market maker, where you're sitting there behind the screens at the floor. And I was in charge of the Frankfurt branch, to put it that way, because the company had their headquarters in Munich. So I had my freedom, and I could develop myself as I wanted to. And I think every person, and when you're dealing with people, I've learned it now over the years, every person needs a different kind of guidance. Some people need you to take their hand and guide them somewhere. Some need this patronizing, and I needed freedom. I needed where I can develop myself on my own. And yeah, I make good profits for this company. At some point I decided to trade with my own money by myself, futures. And yeah, and then a few years down the line, I ended up here trading in the UAE, in Dubai.
You make it sound so easy. Now, you were born not rich. You said your mom and dad went with a suitcase, right? So what was your relationship with money? And then when do you decide, hang on a second, I can be rich here?
Well, look, I grew up to learn to appreciate what I have. Yeah, see, Dariush, yeah, as you say, I never grew up rich. I had one toy and I loved it for as long as I could and looked after it. And still think I'm the same these days. And yes, when you're young, you have this vision and your drive and you're striving to get what you want, whether it's beautiful cars or nice watches or whatever. So it is, it was nice, but it costs a lot. Making money, I have the feeling, takes the essential part away from life, which is the part that has nothing to do with business. And I think we somehow live in the so-called, I call it the dichotomy of the universe, where you should live in the here and now as meditating and spiritual and forget about tomorrow, because tomorrow might never come. Yesterday already happened. But when you live in the here and now, which I've done recently for 2 years, I was balanced. I was happy. People were like, wow, look at you. You're just happy with what you got, but you lose a vision. So this is this paradox so once you live in the here and now, you don't visualize what you're going for. And when I was young, I was visualizing a lot. I want this, and then you achieve it. So I think this is, on one hand, you need to learn to let go and not care and live in the here and now. But on the other side, you need to have a vision of what you want to achieve and go for it. It's a bit like trading, actually. When you're a trader and you're like, this trade is going to make me so rich. No, bam, you get a big slap, that's it. So you need to stay focused on what you want to achieve, but keep a cool head. As soon as you get like all upset and all winded up, they take all the money away. So that's something that you learn in trading, which you need for real life as well. Keep a cool head, but stay ambitious.
That was your gift in trading and discipline.
Yep.
Okay. The way I see it is, thank you. The way I see it is, when you got this adrenaline at a young age, you can drive it today for the future. But as I'm getting older, I realize, for instance, having a good body, okay, I've let go a little bit. And I'm thinking, if I had the vision on a vision board around my house, pictures of a great body, and ate well today, subconsciously, without forcing it, I will eventually have a good body again.
Probably, yes.
So live in the now, make sure you're living a correct life, and allow the universe for your subconscious mind to take you there.
Yes.
But at the beginning, you forcing it, you driving it to get to point B.
Yep.
But as you get older, you think, okay, I believe the universe will take care of it as long as I've got my subconscious mind focusing on that vision.
Yeah. That's what I say. I think it's a very interesting and difficult path, because we need to, how people, they play the lottery and they want to win so badly, or in relationships, I want this and this now. In sports, it's the same thing. If you go on the championship and you just go there to win a trophy or to win the championship, you probably never will win. You need to love what you're doing, and at the same time, you need focus, but let go. And just focus on the here and now.
Yeah, celebrate that small win today.
Yes. I think it's the same thing like in business. I think you're a good businessman if you A, love what you're doing, and B, if you focus on the here and now and create something that people need and people want. But it's the same in everything. I think in relationships, it's the same thing. The more you want something, the less you get it,
So how long were you a market maker or a stockbroker or in the money business before you came here? And why did you come here?
So I had friends that moved here 2003 and set up a business in the UAE for trading. Back then, internet wasn't very good, so we actually got a leased line and set it up with Internet City so we could do proper trading. There was no such thing like DIFC back then.
Your own company?
Yes, my friend's company, and I was part of it.
So you left the corporate world?
I left, I've been here for the first time in 2005 and moved fixed in January 2008. Obviously, it wasn't an easy decision because I left my son behind, but I kind of coordinated that I've been there quite a lot and I had him flying over all the time.
You divorced then?
Yes, we divorced then, yes. And I thought I needed different circumstances, different environment. I wasn't a fan anymore of the tax regulations and policies in Dubai and in Germany, and the politics. So I thought it's time for me to go. Yeah.
And then you set up a company with your friends?
Well, yeah, they were here already. I must admit, I think as most people when they come here, I was struggling in the beginning. You put a lot of pressure on yourself. I was at that time trading futures, which these guys didn't do, and I was scalping, which means like my trades were not even a second long, the opening and the closing. And they said you need to trade stocks again. And I was like, okay, should be fine. But it wasn't that easy to adjust again to swings and stocks. And so 6 months I was struggling.
Trading your own money or
Yeah,
clients? Or
yeah,
just
yeah.
your own?
And no salary, own money. So you got obviously a bit of a pressure. But I'd learned to deal with pressure because when I was 26, I think I got self-employed working on my own for the first time. And the overhead with the office that I had with a friend in Nuremberg and in Frankfurt, the house I had for my wife and my son, all the fixed costs was 10,000 euros. So technically I was a 26 years old guy and I had to make 10,000 to be break even.
Yes.
So when now people ask me, you're an entrepreneur and isn't that a lot of pressure? I say, I think I grew up with pressure to learn to deal, to make 10,000 and then you had zero. In trading, it's also
every month.
Exactly, every month. So I was used to pressure, but obviously I was feeling bad about my son, leaving him behind there. So that was an additional pressure. My mom said back then, why don't you come back to Frankfurt? Any company would take you like this in the blink of an eye. But I said, I'm a bit like a pit bull. I said, if I bite myself into something, I stay there until I succeed. And that's why I'm still here, almost 20 years down the line.
At any point you become a millionaire?
Yeah. You know how this, you
Multi-million.
win some, you lose some. I unfortunately had two bad occasions with a software issue, system error. Eurex, the derivative exchange, had a new release. I was trading over an English company, English broker who didn't update accordingly, so it cost me a lot of money. So you win some, you lose some, but you keep moving forward and fighting, right?
I was trading options
Yeah.
and my own money. And I was having such a good month. And you got to watch because options are time
Yeah,
sensitive.
of course.
And I was so stressed about this stock movement. And I was ready to go. And then my ex-wife phones me up. And it's not why she's ex. Says, oh, Dariush. And it was like the patterns of, can you go and pick up the kids? Something's happened. I was like, here we go again.
Yes.
Yes. And I picked up the key, left, came back, and I lost all my money.
That's the thing.
Because I forgot to close.
I know. That's the thing with this business.
I just got emotionally, and I worked so long. I think it was like $57,000 at the time, but still a lot of money to lose on a school trip.
Yes,
right?
that's
Just
the thing.
pick
You
up the kids and bring
the
them back.
most expensive school trip you ever had.
Yeah,
right?
I swear.
Should
And I
have
was
called
like-
a taxi.
Yeah. So it's a tough
Yeah.
business, especially when it's your own money.
Can go like this.
Actually, I'm actually more conscious about people's money than my own, but
That's the thing. That's why I never really traded with people's money. And I had people offer me, when I was trading futures, I would make 10% return every month on the invested capital. But I was like, no, I'm not. If something goes wrong, I don't want to be in a position to apologize and explain myself. But as you say, I had occasions, many like that. And lately, I do not much trading anymore. I still trade a bit futures every now and then, but these days it's all with algorithms. And as you saw, if you're not there 24/7. Yeah, I have these situations till date. I go somewhere and I think it's going to be fine. And you were in the meantime great in profit. You didn't put a stop order or closing order.
stop loss on it, yeah. Done.
And you put a stop loss, they stop you out. You don't put a stop loss, it goes crazy against you. So yeah, but it's changed, and I lost a bit the passion for this. I still love it and I still observe it. Don't get me wrong, it's still in my
You don't
DNA,
trade,
in my
though,
blood.
just a little bit.
Yeah, but just a little bit. And
Futures or just stocks?
futures mostly. I buy every now and then stocks when I see a potential and I think there's something happened there and it needs a correction. But I like extremes. I trade. If I don't do the scalping, the fast trading, I like to go against extremes. And
Many life-changing amounts of money that people
That's
are
the thing.
making, but just manipulating the narrative.
yeah, that's the big players. They push it wherever they wanted it. Now with technology, they can do it easier than ever. And it's a little bit disconnected to me, in my opinion. That's why I'm not trading much anymore from the actual reality of what's happening in the world, what's going on in the world, of the economic situation all over the world. So to me, the relation of the market to the happenings in the world is not there anymore, and that's why it's very difficult to trade, because as you say, they probably push it wherever they want to push it, and let it drop.
It just
and they want
doesn't
to
make sense.
Exactly.
It just doesn't make sense.
Exactly. That's what it is. So it's very difficult these days to anticipate.
And also, nobody. It feels like nobody can do anything about it.
No, money is a nice thing, and you can afford nice things, and it's essential in life to make things easier. But I think a lot of people forget that there's more to life. You know, like especially if you work like me, I've been working obviously 15 years non-stop in the finance business, and then you realize your son grew up, you don't even know how, and you come to a point where you think time is actually the most valuable commodity. Yes, you need to make some money somehow, and you need to have your visions, but I don't want to be in the position where I one day say again, I want to turn back the time. I learned to live now that whatever I want to try, whether it's business, whether I do with my little sons, spend all the time that I say, I did what I could. And I don't need to beat up myself when I'm old and say, you know, I shouldn't have. Like some of the famous guys, you know, who set up a crazy business and then they regret that their life was only evolved about this instead of seeing the other important things or the more important things in life, yeah. So I think it's a balance. But as always, you can only know what you want if you know what you don't want. Make sense?
You need to know your boundaries.
Yes. And
you need to know your values.
Yeah.
And you need to know what's a no in my life.
Yeah.
That's a no. I'm not even going to compromise on that.
Yep.
That's really, and most people don't have that clarity.
That's the thing, and I think, but I mean, everyone has their own opinion and their right to their own opinion. And don't get me wrong, they can do whatever they want. As I said, I don't have a grudge on anybody. But I think you realize what you don't want when you actually had many things, and then you actually realize maybe it's not even that important. You know, you lose the appetite, you lose a bit the hunger, which is bad in terms of a business way, because you should have it, but maybe you should put other visions into context. But I think that's the thing about the whole life, as we said earlier, it's a double-sided sword, yeah?
I think to be really, really smart, a really, really smart human being is the one who's young and listen to the elders.
Which mostly young people don't do. We didn't do it either, I guess.
I didn't have anyone. I wish I had someone. And information wasn't so readily available as it is today. Like internet.
Yeah.
You can chat GPT. It's your
crazy
dad. It's your
we had
best
to buy
friend,
a book. Even for music, I had to buy a book with chords.
I had to go to the library.
Yeah.
And then hope that nobody else was reading.
Exactly.
Times have changed.
It's crazy. It made life easier now for people and then more accessible to everything, you know. But I think we were blessed the way we grew up. I must say I loved my life, my childhood. But yeah, I think now you're talking about Ferrari and cars, you know, I was blessed enough as well to have a lot of sports cars. So I think I had my first Porsche 911 when I was 23. Could have bought it when I was 19. Made a lot of money with warrants. My mom said, why do you need a car like this? You're young. Then I invested again. Came a crash, I think it was 2000, the Argentinian crisis. Boom, took all my money away. I said, next time I'll achieve it, I'll buy what I want. I don't care what people think. So it is nice to achieve it, but I think always it's a mindset that we have a saying in German, rich is not the person that has everything. You're rich when you're happy with what you've got. So everyone's happy with something else, you know. You can be a billionaire and you got everything and you're still not happy because you want more and more and more. Or you're someone who achieved the status, lost maybe the hunger, but for more. But where you say, you know what, I'm happy now. I watch a beautiful sunset. I speak to the right people. I live in the here and now, sort of. Instead of only in worries and troubles, I need to pay these bills. You know, the more you have, you probably will know, the more problems you have, right? There's an apartment going on there, this, my motorbike, my car, my boat.
The energy you attract. There was a story, I can't remember the name of it. It was a German businessman who was the richest German in the world. And then he did a bad business deal and he dropped to fourth or something. And then he threw himself under a train. Because to him, it was an embarrassment, but he was still a billionaire. Do you remember this?
I don't remember,
find out who that person was. I read it through a Tony Robbins book. I'll let you know.
Yeah,
It was
no.
a real horrific story. That to be like the fourth or fifth richest man in Germany wasn't good enough, and it was an embarrassment. So
Crazy.
he threw himself on a train.
But yeah, I mean, I understand. Look, we've been all there. I know your life story. We've been all there where we devastated and we're asking why. Why do I need to keep going? And you lost a lot. You fought for a lot. You're wondering what happened. But I think one famous actor had a good saying. He said, "It's not about how much you get hit in life, because it will hit you down.
Rocky, baby, yeah.
It's
Sylvester
about
Stallone.
how much you can get hit and keep moving forward." And how many times in life we had a terrible time, and then all of a sudden, like in your case, something flourishes. And you think, thank God I'm still here to experience this. If I would have given up, like this German example, I wouldn't be able to experience it. Same with relationships. You leave one relationship, you think that was the best woman of my life, and 2 years down the line, you meet someone who elevates you even more, was more magical, better chemistry. So in that moment, you don't know, but a few years down the line, you think it all made sense. It all happened for a reason. All steps, all puzzles were put together, and I'm now what I am because of what I went through.
We're gonna go there now.
Yeah.
We're gonna go. I'm
Inshallah.
gonna take you there. So you were in the money game, 2004, 5,
Yeah, since 1997,
and then when
technically.
did you get out, and why?
2011.
Okay. Here in Dubai.
Yes, it was a difficult decision. I first left the office. We had it here in Media City, traded from home. There was some,
Friction.
friendship problems, let's put it that way. In trading, you're also on your own. No one tells you what to do. You can't adopt to a different style. Everyone has their own style. And then some people are jealous because you make more money, or some people are jealous because of whatever. And I had that experience in Germany where I obviously cut off a friend who backstabbed me back then. And it was a difficult decision because I still have friends from there, and some people started going different paths. The one went back to Germany, created his own fund. The other one is in Singapore. I'm still friends with him, amazing guy. But I just hated my working place, and you can't succeed then.
And what did you do?
I hated going to the office. Well, first, I didn't do nothing for 8 months. I was just chilling, enjoying life after being stressed.
Had you met your second wife then?
I met her actually when I came to Dubai first in 2005.
Right.
I was just divorced a year ago, and we met.
German?
South African, British.
Okay.
Great mother of my children, I must say. I'm blessed. But yeah, it just didn't work out,
How long were you together?
Well, we got married 2010. We met in 2005, and we got divorced and separated, I'd say 6-7 years ago. But we're cool. We're like friends,
So your boys, how old are they now?
7 and 10 now.
Oh, they're very young.
Yeah. So 7 years ago, I moved out. Yeah.
My only regrets in life is with the family is that I was so busy working, I didn't spend enough time with my first two. I was a young dad working. This morning, I landed like midnight.
Yeah.
This morning is 7 o'clock. We were on the beach launching turtles into the sea
Amazing.
with my 10-year-old.
Oh,
and I was
bless.
like, this is what it's about.
Quality time, right?
And he turned and said, Daddy, we're actually really connected to the earth because we got no shoes on the sand. And I said, you know how lucky we are
To
that
be
we
able
can-
to
do that. Yeah.
That's a blessing. See, that's the quality time that you take with you, and the child takes with you as well.
When was
That's
the last
amazing.
time I remember that I made some money in the office or
Exactly.
I-
What will the
I-
kids remember about
yeah, I
it?
did a good deal.
Exactly.
Nothing. But I
Exactly.
remember that morning.
Magical, yes. I love doing these kind of things. I used to be skateboarder as well, so I take my kids skateboarding, and in Ras Al Khaimah, where I'm living now, we have these open beaches, you see stingrays, fishes, jellyfish, it's just magical doing these things with the kids. So,
Are they living in Ras Al Khaimah
yes,
still?
yes.
So they're close to you. You're
Yeah,
close to them.
I'd see them every day. I'd pick them up from school, except today, but it's worth it. I'd pick them up. No, I can't every day, but most of the times I'd pick them up. They in my karate school and sports club, also training twice a week, 3 times a week under me.
So what business did you get into after 8 months?
I started flying You know, I did a pilot license for the fun of it. I did a boat license for the fun of it.
You have a boat, right?
I sold it recently.
What size?
It wasn't very big. It was 38 foot.
Okay, big enough.
It was all right, but headache. All the time something going
Tell
wrong.
me about
It's,
it. I had a boat in Thailand.
just-
Worst decision I ever made.
cash.
Yes.
I had a good
So
German.
the best day is the day you buy and the day you
I
sell
was
it.
going to say
Yeah.
exactly the same thing. That's what a German friend told me when I bought the boat. I mean, I must say it's enjoyable, right? You take it out. It's
Well, not really. I didn't enjoy it because you probably became a captain or got to
Yeah,
know how to. I didn't. I just got the manual and I said, off we go.
Oh, that's if it's possible. Why not? It used to be
But it
possible back in
wasn't
the
possible
days.
because I hit it, I bashed it, I hit
Oh,
it against
okay.
coral, I hit it.
In Ras Al Khaimah, we're a bit lucky, you know. Like it's not as busy as here with the boats, and you got your little lonesome islands. But yeah, you need to be careful there as well because of corals, and taking it too close to the shore. Obviously, keep in consideration the tides, depending on how long you are, because otherwise you might stand on sand after a few hours. So yeah, it's a challenging thing. But I must say, I enjoyed taking the boat out. I kind of miss it. I might want to go for a boat at some point again, but it just
Charter.
got to a point. I had a car as well, which had cost me fortune left, right, and center, and the boat, and everything came together. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna knock. My apartment in Budapest was being a headache, giving me a headache, and I was like, I'm gonna knock everything off now that costs me energy and money, which is really unnecessary, and try and posture myself, reposition myself, and try and take it step by step instead of wasting money on things that are not needed at the current stage.
But you couldn't stop. You started your karate school.
Yeah, I did.
How did that start? You started just chatting with friends, or
I
started
actually,
with your boys on the beach, and more boys joined on the beach?
I've been an instructor when I came to Dubai. Back then, I was in Germany, an instructor.
You never stopped.
I never stopped. I worked here for a big company in the security team, and I figured out that I have the gift to deal with people, and that I figure out that everyone, as I said earlier, needs different guidance. And I always loved kids. I love kids, bless them, little innocent souls. So then I thought, where I live, there's nothing. There's nothing they can do. Always quite a bit of a way, whether they want to play football, tennis, whatever. So I just set up a karate school and sports club right in the village. And now I got a few other instructors working underneath me, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Aikido, yoga, etc. And yeah, it's been a nice path, and it's a personal feedback, that you get. And I think it's much more valuable to me these days than red or green on 10 flat screens, making money, not making money. I have a good example for back then when I had my first Porsche. In Germany, I went to the barber and parked the car, and this guy was like, nice car, huh? Sponsored by daddy? I said, no, unfortunately, my daddy's passed away when I was 3, so self-made. He said, yeah, wow, what you doing? I said, I'm a trader. Oh, good, I have good money. I said, yeah, but you know what? It's not everything. You're going to cut my hair now, and I'm going to tell you amazing jobs. You get personal feedback. I'm sitting all on my own in my house in front of 10 flat screens for 14 hours a day. I run to the bathroom and run back, and that's all my life. And my feedback is just on screens. And now I'm actually getting this personal feedback where parents are saying, it's amazing how you change their focus, their body posture, their behavior, their self-esteem. So you give something like similar to what you do. You have a gift, and when you give this to other people, that's kind of a reward, isn't it?
Very true. Very true. I often ask the question, is it that, or is it I lack so much love that I'm doing this because I get love back?
Never thought about that question. That might be it.
Is it that my bucket's so empty that I'm doing this so they can love me back? Is that a love buying, or is it unconditional? Because, like I said, we're always reflecting, right? I don't know the answer, but I just hope it's a balance. It's a healthy balance. I hope I'm doing it unconditionally, not conditionally because I'm getting love back.
Well, I mean, life is always a give and take, but I think you do it unconditionally. Yes, you have a business, you're helping people, but it's your right to make a business out of it. Same like I'm charging, right? I mean, if I could, I would do it for free.
But that's a very good point, because I do it for free. I don't sell anything. You see, every year I lose. my social media pages, my podcast, my everything. I just do it for free. I don't charge anything. I've only started charging now because I have to pay Emirates and other airlines.
Yeah.
No, it's true, right? But before that, and then I was wondering, is it because I don't value myself that much that I'm not charging? Because all the successful people in the US are charging, you know, they have courses. I just give away educational material for free. It's reflecting time.
I'd say maybe you are in the position where you can do it at the moment. And I think it's, as I said, give and take. So you probably had times in life where someone helped you, guided you, helped you out with something, gave you a little push. And I think now it's the time for you or the position to give back, which is an amazing thing. There will be surely coming a time again where you say, okay, now I gave enough. It's all I can give. Like, I was in this position many times in my life, whether it's in a relationship or whatever, comes a point, so now it's all what I can give. And then you need to start rethinking and charging again and go on a different path.
You don't live on air, right?
Yes, yes.
The bills don't get paid by...
Yes,
by
but I think it's the reward of sharing your knowledge is already, it's like a legacy. Like, I mean, I'm blessed. My dream was always teaching my kids karate, like in the old Japanese days with Eddie. And now I actually do. They're already quite a high belt in the age of 7 and 10, and they're absolutely amazing fighters. You know, and that they one day will say, when someone asks them, who taught you karate?
My dad.
I said, my dad. I'm like, you know, that feels good. And then I have parents telling me these kids, girls, boys, when they go out into their life, they will always think about what you taught them about life. I always try and...
So this could be your legacy.
Yes, I mean, it's, well, some people might think, oh, he's a karate instructor, right? Okay, I've had different chapters in my life, but it's actually, it's more about, as you say, to give to people and share your knowledge, you know, and in a spiritual way, I think it's the best thing you can do. I mean, there's people, I read a lot of spiritual books in my life, and I'm quite interested in this subject. And there's people that meditate in some cave for 100 years and disappear again. And I'm asking myself, why are you here? You don't need to come to this planet, you know, just sitting somewhere, share your knowledge. Come and share your knowledge and give to people what you can give, whatever it is. Some people know how to draw pictures. Some people know how to sing. Some people know martial arts. Some people know how to speak and to motivate people for their lives and for the business lives, for their relationships, therapists. It's a gift. And I think we should share with people what we know.
What that gift is. One thing I have realized in life is that if you don't charge, be it a small fee, people don't value it. It's like giving somebody money, lending somebody money.
Correct.
They think, well, obviously he doesn't value it because he gives it to me, right? So what I say is when I lend, I say, I don't expect it back. When I give and I expect them to actually do something, I should even get them to pay a charity. Because when there's an exchange of energy, they value it most. That's what I find in life.
And yeah, because they paid for it and they want to show up and do something.
Mm-hmm. When it's a free seminar, 60% of people don't show up.
But isn't that the pathetic way of thinking of mankind? I mean, when you look at it, you offer something for free, and people, I mean, we've been here for long enough to see brands rocking up, which cost a fortune, and people pay for it because it costs a fortune.
Correct.
And they ask for the higher price because they don't want to pay the lower price. And I like quality, I like brands, but I always think price quality needs to be right. And with this free giving, as I say, it's true, people don't value it, don't appreciate it. Charge a lot, then I'll come and pay.
Correct.
To me, it's pathetic, you know.
Correct, but it's interesting psychology.
Yeah.
So what I want to talk about is your beautiful new business that I would like to get involved in. We've had chat, we're going to discuss things.
I hope you will. It'll be a blessing.
So you saw something was niggling, right? So you said, right, you need to start a business, a new chapter.
Yes.
And then this idea came to mind. Please share with us the name of the company, what it does.
Yes. So,
uniqueness.
As I told you, I've been here for 20 years, so I saw the startups and the rise of many e-commerce platforms, etc. Figured out that people in this country these days don't even want to go to supermarkets. Yeah? They ordering via app, ordering clothes, and that's where I thought when selling and buying pre-owned and used items, It should be easier. It's a big hub, this country. There's 300,000 people migrating to the UAE every year. They ask not only for new items, they want to buy a used TV, furniture, whatever. And it seems to be a hassle, and that's why I created Umonda to make it all simple.
How do you spell it?
Uniform, Mike, Oscar, November, Delta, Alpha. Umonda. And the birth of Umonda was actually the COVID crisis. So in 2020, I drove through Dubai and had people who advertised items and went to their villa. And these guys would say, take what you want and give me what you got. I got 1 week to leave the country, right? And that's why I thought, I spoke to a hedge fund manager friend. I said, we actually need to rent a massive warehouse, buy all the stuff for next to nothing, and then we sell it when the crisis is over. And that was the birth of Umonda, where I was thinking, how can we simplify for people that they don't need to drive around, have constant messaging and haggling, and people won't show up. And that's why our Umonda is called, we got different slogans lined up, but the current slogan is buy and sell with just one click, where there's no contact between a buyer and seller. You don't need to worry about the logistics, so whether you buy from Abu Dhabi, Ras Al Khaimah, or wherever, we go and pick up the item. You don't have any loved ones' last price messages, and so on and so on. People who mess you around won't show up saying they come in and look at the item, still bargaining, and then ghost you. It's all done on the platform. You buy with one click, you sell with one click. We take care of the logistics. Pick the item up, bring it. You can give a review.
I have a Louis Vuitton handbag, and I want to sell. I go to your website.
Correct.
Set up an account.
Yep.
Take a picture of my item.
Yes.
Value it, whatever I want. I post it. And then when do you pick it up? When it's posted, or when there's an offer for it? And then on the other side, a buyer is looking for Louis Vuitton bags, right?
Correct.
And then how does this transaction happen that's different to eBay, for instance?
You sign up for free, you list for free. You know, other platforms obviously live off people listing stuff, and that's how they make money. And then they really don't care. Whether you sell or not sell, they don't care. Our business starts after you list it. You list for free, and then when you sell, when you found a buyer for you, we're going to obviously pick it up, deliver. It's going to work like this. So you can advertise your handbag, for instance, for fixed price. But if you want to give space to bargain to the buyer, you give a minimum set price, a little bit like...
So that flexibility is in the app?
Yeah, it's up to you. And but the buyer won't see it. The buyer has 3 bids to get into the price range. It's a bit like the stock exchange, you know. He can bid if he gets into a little minimum price range, into the spread. He will go to checkout, can buy it. We will call you. We will ask you, when is it possible, our logistics team, when is it possible to pick up the item? You will tell us a suitable day and a time. Our logistic team will pick it up and bring it to the buyer.
That's amazing.
And
physically for me, how do you know that the bag is real? If I'm just shopping around.
That's a valid question. So let's say you're a new user. It's a bit, as you said, it's a bit like eBay. It works on reviews. So probably you won't sell an expensive handbag or a Rolex without any reviews. But if you build up trust and you have maybe 50 reviews and people see, you are obliged to put it in the description, any flaws and anything. And then obviously the reviews are given, and that's how people will judge you.
So it's a bit of a trust of amounts of trades and authenticity. And
yes.
And so then you come, the bid is accepted. I go, yes, I like that price. I don't know who the buyer is. I'm the seller. I don't know who the buyer is, correct?
Correct.
You are the one who makes it happen.
We're the middleman.
Okay. You're the market maker.
Exactly.
So your van comes and picks the bag up?
Correct.
When do I get paid?
So the buyer paid technically to like an escrow account, to our account, and as soon as the item is delivered to the buyer, the funds will be transferred to your profile, which is the U-Wallet. Now the U-Wallet you can use for further purchases, or you click on withdraw to bank account and we send it to your bank account for free. Now the U-Wallet is obviously an option to use it, as I said, for the purchases, but the U-Wallet and the reward system are something that we're focused on, because with the U-Wallet and the reward system, that's another gain of profits that Umonda is making. We obviously make a little percentage on the transaction, the purchase, and the sale. And with a reward system that we have, the U points, you will gain points, and it's a loyalty program, and you can use them also for redeeming vouchers for different collaborations that we're working on.
5%, 10%? How much?
5%.
5%
5% on the
from seller buyer.
correct from the actual purchase price.
Wow, which is great because you picking up, you delivering,
Correct.
you're doing facilitating all the
Correct.
transactions.
And the loyalty program actually has many benefits. So if you become a star member, which is just 20 dirhams a month or 120 dirhams a year, you have free dismantling and assembly of furniture. So if you sell a furniture piece, our logistic team will come and dismantle your furniture. You will be obviously highlighted on a social media featured. You got more bits, unlimited bits if you're a buyer, to get into the range of the seller. And yeah, you earn the U points. And yeah, that's about
You own the U points? Is it U card, U
on every
loyalty
sale.
program? U is your company's name, or is it?
Yeah, you like Umonda, U points,
okay.
U wallets from Umonda. Yes.
That's clever.
Yeah.
Okay, you create that yourself. It's an honor to have you as a friend. It's an honor to have you here, and I truly live in gratitude to have met you. So thank you so much. I honor you, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks.
Gladiators, we'll see you soon.